And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, I'm Darren. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us on this gorgeous, can't stress that enough, gorgeous day. This is the day the Lord's made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. We have finished raking our hay fields. And if you followed the channel very long, you know about all these foxtail infestations we're dealing with that we've had to cut around. And because of all those cutting around, all those foxtail clusters has made some really wonky looking windrows. I just had to go with how I'd cut. And there's a certain little section down there that I can't get raked out without just destroying everything else I've raked. So I'm just gonna take a leaf blower. When we're done baling this field, I'm just gonna take a leaf blower and blow that hay out, and there's not a lot of it, but it ought to be a couple bales worth, and blow it out of there and just bale it that way. It's the only way I know to do it. Shade tree haymaking. And we've got everything raked, the test plot's raked, the main hayfield's raked. If you watched our last video of raking, you saw all that. We're ready to start baling. First thing we're going to do is hook up our baler, the Farm Maxx / Redlands 330 Twine Wrap. We put gathering wheels on that baler about a month ago, and we've not used it yet. We want to try those gathering wheels. So the test plot's a smaller area, and we're going to bale some in that test plot with the Twine Wrap Baler, just to see how those gathering wheels do and how they work. Then, once we see what we want to see with those gathering wheels, then I'm going to park that baler and hook up the baler that Carver Equipment sent us. Kyle from Carver Equipment, the owner, he sent us a net wrap Redlands 330 baler to try. And we're going to give it a try. There's going to be a lot more hay here than in the test plot. So we're going to use that net wrap baler here where we can use it a little more and try to get familiar with it, because that net wrap baler, it's a lot the same as the Twine Wrap Baler, but then it's not. The principle of how it rolls the hay, how it picks up the hay is all the same. However, that thing's totally automated. You don't have to hit buttons, you don't have to do nothing. When you hear the siren go off, you stop, and it does everything. It net wraps it, it ejects the bale, it does it all through actuators and all that type of stuff with a net wrap. So it's a different animal. It's the same but different, if that makes any sense. So we want to use it a little more to see what we think of it. It's going to be something new that we have not used in the past, and a net wrap, even when back years ago when we done square baling with a conventional square baler, we done, twine. Net wrap's new to me, in other words. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with it, but I'm confident we can handle that. And if we don't, Kyle from Carver Equipment and Mr. Steve Carver, they're only a phone call away. Their customer service is second to none. If you have problems, if you are one of their customers and you have problems with some of this equipment, they're a phone call away to give you some expert advice on how to maybe resolve your problem. Whether it be you're not familiar with how to load new twine on it or whatever, they're right there to help. So if we have a problem, I have no problems calling Kyle or Mr. Steve and getting some advice. So we're going to get at it. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. Let's go bale some hay. All right, we're ready to start baling. We're baling our test plot, and it's only 2/10 of an acre, but this is some Jim Dandy hay. And I have adjusted these new gathering wheels, their distance to the ground. I've took my baler out of the transport mode, lowered it down into the working mode, and I've got them about a ½ an inch off the ground. This is new to me, these gathering wheels. So I'm gonna have to experiment a little bit with what's best. So in the video, if you see it not getting all of it gathered in, or it's too deep, I'm gonna be adjusting it on the fly as we go. So bear with me on that. I think these are gonna be fantastic. All right, let's get this little Kubota fired up. And our tractor is a Kubota 4-wheel drive L Series 3200. And it does not have a live PTO. So when the bale alarm sounds, I have to stop, shift into neutral, let the clutch back out for the baling to happen, for the twine wrap and all that to happen. Then when I'm done, I push the clutch back in, put it back in forward gear and take back off. That was a learning curve too, but I've overcome that very easily. So let's get started. Per our normal routine, this is what we normally do. When we make a bale, we check the moisture on the first few bales. If it tastes too high, we'll stop and unroll it and bale it tomorrow. But for now, let's check our moisture. We have our Agri-Tronics HT Pro, and I did check the calibration on it earlier. .4. I'm gonna go down a little deeper. .7. All right, let's check a few outer layers. Now you can hit a wet spot, just a tiny one. It can be the size of a golf ball or a tennis ball that can make your moisture reading go way up. And then you can move your probe that far and it drop right back down. Okay, right there, 16.3. All right, I'm gonna go a little deeper. Give it a minute to settle on a number. .9. Okay, let's go right over here. You can't just stick this in and look at it and get a number. You got to let it settle on the appropriate moisture. 13.5. Okay, let's go right back in the middle again. 10.4. All right, everything I read on these Agri-Tronics moisture meters says this. It says that these things are calibrated to alfalfa, a bale of alfalfa. And if you're doing straight grass hay, take at least 3 points off. That's everything I've always heard about these things. Someone tell me if that's correct or not. I've heard some people say all the way up to 4 or 5 off, but I've always heard 3 if it's straight grass hay. And right there, our reading is 10.5. So if you took 3 off of that, that'd be 7.5. So we're in good shape. Let's keep baling. So far, 1 bale made. Those little gathering wheels worked like a charm. Okay, we have the Redlands 330 net wrap baler hooked up to our tractor. It's getting late in the evening. We're going to have to put this thing on this show on the road if we're going to get this baled. This is the net wrap model, and I've Got everything hooked up, hooked it to our drawbar system. The wiring harness is all hooked, and we're ready to start baling. Let's see what we think of this baler. I think we're gonna like it, but you never know until you use it. I do know I like our twine wrap one. Let's see. This net wrap's supposed to be a little more efficient. You can bale up, you know, a handful more bales per hour with it because it's fully automated. All right, let's get started. We're done baling for the day. It's gonna be dark in 45 minutes. We still got some hay to pick up out of the field. We finished baling the test plot and the gathering wheels, 2 thumbs up. I've got to get them adjusted right. And I noticed some of the tines turned. The bolts, those tines are held on with some Allen bolts, and apparently a couple of them's loose. Shame on me for not checking them before we started using it. But it took me a little while to get them adjusted to the ground. And I still don't think I got them just right, but that'll come. I'm happy to say they appeared to be no damage whatsoever from using those to our side plates on our baler. It looks like it worked perfect. So we got about 10 bales done on the back with the net wrap baler, and we stopped because we got to get hay bales out of the field and stuff before dark, and then we still got feeding livestock to do and things of that nature. So we had to quit. We'll pick back up tomorrow's Saturday, in this hay in the main field. It's good hay. It's almost as good as what's in the test plot. But anyway, we had an issue with the net wrap baler, and the issue we had with that net wrap baler is because of this tractor. It was not a baler issue. Our tractor is a non-live PTO, meaning if you push the clutch in to stop, the PTO stops. The power going to it. When you let the clutch back out, the power takes back off. That caused an issue on that automated process. It caused an issue, and it took me a few minutes to figure out how to overcome that, just like we had to do with the twine wrap baler. We had to learn to shift and in the neutral, let the clutch back out, twine wrap, eject the bale, and then put it back in gear and keep going. And it caused an issue with that automatic system on that twine wrap or net wrap baler. But I think we got it figured out. We'll find out for sure tomorrow, because we'll finish tomorrow. We'll give it up till 2 o'clock or so to let all the dew off the windrows and everything, and we'll bale the rest of it tomorrow. But for now, we're going to be using this prototype bale accumulator to go around our test plot and pick up the bales. I think we made about 10 bales up there. We're going to test it out with some actual bales on it. Come with us. Okay, this accumulator is fantastic. This is a prototype, and I've got some suggestions to make this even better that really I think Kyle and Carver Equipment will appreciate. I've used it. You can see it's loaded. We've hauled hay to the barn here with it, and this is the hay off the test plot, and boy, it's good hay. It's premium hay. And these are some heavy bales compared. These are at least 50-pound bales, and the density setting on the net wrap baler that we're using is lighter. It's in the medium light setting, and those bales are probably around 35 pounds. Actually, probably more manageable to most people. So we may look into setting ours a little less. I always kind of like the idea, if you buy a bale of our hay, you get your money's worth in hay. But I'm telling you, those net wrap bales are nice compared to these being able to handle them. All right, we've used the accumulator. I hope you enjoyed seeing that in action. My understanding is I do not work for Carver Equipment. I'm just a very happy customer of theirs, and have a good friendship and relationship with Mr. Steve Carver and Kyle Smith, the new owner. They are fantastic people. So they've let me check out and test this accumulator to see what I think. And I've got some good ideas for them after using it. And I'll maybe elaborate on some of that after I talk to them. But we've got all our hay done for the day. We've still got a lot of hay to bale in the main field, but we're stopping for the day so we can get all this put up. What do you think of the new accumulator? It's not ours, we're just testing it. Isn't it nice to work with someone, a dealership or a company, then take those suggestions and things to improve the products and listen and incorporate them into what they're doing to make their products even better. When I have no doubt when Kyle finishes with the final prototype, the finished product, after these suggestions, this is going to be knocking it out of the park good. So thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. We got to hurry and get this hay unloaded and hay into the barn and cleaned up and feed chickens and all that stuff before dark. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. And I pray God blesses you and your family. And we pray you all have a fantastic day.